Hello everyone, it's fidelity, and today I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to upload a video right now in the morning about all the fundamental updates on Bitcoin because there's so many fundamental updates that I need to share with you guys in the moment that they are happening, and later on in a couple of hours I'm going to go into the chart analysis as always. So I'm going to leave links all over the place for you to scroll through both videos, alright? Let's get into the fundamental stuff that we need to. First of all, huge shout out to the Glassnode Twitter channel. As you know, they are one of the best guys when it comes to Bitcoin on-chain analytics, and all of this information I'm pulling is coming from them. So let's start with the first one. The number of new participants in the Bitcoin network is unprecedented. Over the past weeks, we have seen a large growth of new entities. This is a strong indication that new retail investors have been entering the space. Guys, today what I'm going to show you is that all of the chips for Bitcoin mainstream adoption have now fallen into their place, and currently we're just waiting for those chips to start to multiply. We're already at the end of the beginning of Bitcoin's mainstream adoption. So what does this graph here show? Well, it shows that the number of new participants has never grown by this much ever. We're now past the 2017-2018 high. So what this line here in orange shows is how many people are joined the network on a given day, week, month. On this part, these many people joined the network. Here, these many people joined the network. In the height of the previous peak, this many people joined the network. And now this many people joined the network. What it means is that there's more people than ever using Bitcoin right now. Let's move on to the next one. So another data point that's proving the same point is, well, if you look at the people who hold less than one Bitcoin, these are generally small retail investors. And what you can see here is that people who own less than one Bitcoin are accumulating at an increasing rate, and they went from 1.23% of all Bitcoin supply to now 5.2% of all Bitcoin supply. Guys, it means, once again, more and more small retail investors are coming onto the network. The more users that Bitcoin has, the more valuable Bitcoin becomes. Let's go here. Well, currently the Bitcoin miners are holding more than they're selling. As we know, when the Bitcoins sell, we usually tend to see quite a bit of a sell-off. So it means that right now, this sell-off is actually not motivated by the miners selling. The miners are currently accumulating more and more Bitcoin. It means that the miners expect the price to go up in the short term. This graph here is showing how much percentage supply of Bitcoin has been moved within the past 6 months. So currently, 36% of all Bitcoins ever made have actually been exchanged in the past 6 months. It's this red line here. This black line here shows every single time that more than half of all Bitcoins that have ever been mined moved in the past 6 months. As we see here, during most bull market peaks, we are hitting this 50% supply line move. And currently, we are only at 36% supply, which is far below the previous peaks. Now, there is, in general, more people holding Bitcoin, but as we go from the pure data, we should expect the top of the market to peak somewhere around this 50% supply being moved in the past 6 months. To give you an idea of how low I think this current small dip in the Bitcoin price can move, well, we can look here and see the volume of Bitcoin between different price targets. So as we see here, we have volume if you just look on this graph. And what you see here is that at 47.4 thousand US dollars, we had a huge amount of volume coming in. So if we were to drop down below here, this is where a bunch of buying action would come up and would start to push us back towards the top of the Bitcoin price. As you see, where we currently are, there's very, very, very little volume, which means that right now we can expect big price swings in the charts, but these are not a manifestation of a bull or a bear trend. Just because there's no volume at these levels, we actually almost cannot say that movement within here is significant in any way. Now to give you more bullish targets. Well, look at how much a Canadian ETF, which has just come out, has grown since their beginning around the 18th of February. Well, you see here that they started with about 6,000 Bitcoin, and because more and more people have been buying the ETF, that means that they have been able to buy more and more Bitcoin, and they are currently sitting at about 14,000 Bitcoin within 1 month of being live. So imagine what the US ETFs will be capable of. I will be talking about the US ETFs at the end of the video. To give you a really bullish price target, well, we see that on Friday, $6 billion in options contracts are set to expire. And for April, there is a lot of options hovering around the 80,000 US dollar mark. It means that investors are really eyeing this as the next bull target. And there's a lot of people, actually more than at any other price level, people are betting on this price target manifesting. Guys, this Friday, approximately $6 billion in options contracts are set to expire, and the Bitcoin price expectations for April are absolutely astronomical. There are the most people betting on Bitcoin actually going above 80,000 US dollars, and the second largest group is betting on Bitcoin staying below 40,000 US dollars. As you can see, we are currently around here, around the 55,000 US dollar mark, and there's a huge swing to reach either price target. But the dominant side is actually the people who are saying, hey, Bitcoin is actually going to be above $80,000 very, very soon, actually in April still, for the 30th of April specifically. So let's move on further for the bullish targets. As we see here, 7.3% of all Bitcoins moved at prices above $1 trillion. It means that when we actually hit the $1 trillion mark, well, people and investors were still comfortable trading far above that $1 trillion market cap. It means that there's pretty solid support here for prices above $1 trillion. And that is very, very bullish, because it means that investors do think that this was a fair price to trade for Bitcoin. And guys, lastly, I want to show you what I found in the SEC filings for Goldman Sachs and Fidelity, which are two of the biggest money managers in the world. If we start with the Goldman Sachs SEC filing from March 19th, well, they only mentioned Bitcoin one time. So let's jump exactly to where that was mentioned. And if I highlight it here, well, I've already looked at it, so you can take my word for it. But this is the part where they're talking about their investment strategies and what kind of ETFs they're looking at making in the short term. And as you see here, the ETF may have exposure to cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin indirectly through an investment in a grantor trust. The ETF's exposure to cryptocurrency may change over time, and accordingly, such exposure may not always be represented in the ETF's portfolio. What does this mean? It means that they're going to be able to create ETFs which are composed of companies that are heavily invested in cryptocurrency, and specifically probably in Bitcoin. So what they're going to do, my prediction, is that they're going to call it a Bitcoin ETF, and it's just going to be composed of companies with the biggest exposure to Bitcoin. So then if we look at the Fidelity filing from March 24th, 2021, as you see, they mentioned Bitcoin 1,021 times. It's quite a bit more than the other one, but in summary, Fidelity wants to create a Bitcoin trust where they are able to hold Bitcoin in an exchange-traded fund, and they aim to track the performance of Bitcoin. And the way they're going to track the performance of Bitcoin is in seeking to achieve its investment objective. The trust will hold Bitcoin and will value its shares daily based on the same methodology used to calculate the index, which is just them saying, well, we're going to be looking at the Bitcoin price and making adjustments accordingly, and we're literally going to hold Bitcoin for you guys. So if you invest in this ETF, you're literally investing in Bitcoin. This is probably one of the first US-based direct ETFs which are going to physically be holding, well, I say physically, holding Bitcoin, but the way that other Bitcoin ETFs has worked right now is that they hold shares in companies which have high exposure to Bitcoin. This one is different because they plan on holding Bitcoin themselves in this trust. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this new format, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I am going to give you within 2 hours, the chart analysis of everything. Expect to see that link up here in the description, everywhere at the end of the video. It's gonna come. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you got smarter with me today, and I've earned it, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that everybody knows, so that you get this content in the moment that I'm putting it out. And as well, if you could please smash that like button, I would really appreciate it, because it shows YouTube that this is a valuable video that needs to get out to more people. And I think all of the fundamental stuff I've shown you right now is exceptionally valuable information. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!